Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dummies on the Hardwood. I got Isaac in the middle. I got Benny right across from me. Um, we're just four dummies giving our unfiltered thoughts and opinions on storylines around the NBA. Minus one because Johnny isn't in today, so there's the three of us.
Hey Jay, hope you're having fun out there in San Francisco, bro. Or wherever you at.
In today's episode, we will discuss the Central Division.
This is gonna be a pretty good one. This is gonna be good.
But before we get into today's episode, do any of you guys have a shout out?
Yeah, shout out to Bay, always supporting me and loving me. Thank you, Bay. I love you.
No, just shout out to everybody who's supporting us. You know, we appreciate the support and the love. Continue to follow us on all social media platforms: X, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Show the love. We greatly appreciate it. So thank you guys. Thank you.
All right, we're just gonna hop right into this. Isaac, before we got on, you mentioned you had a couple topics that you wanted to talk about. What did you want to talk about?
Just want to get your reactions. All right, what was it? Shaq calling Rudy Gobert the worst player in the NBA or one of the worst centers of all time. What do you guys think?
I need context.
Pretty much, Shaq was saying, I don't even know. He had said that Rudy Gobert is one of the worst players, depending on like the money he had made. He's getting paid like a max player, but he's not producing that all-star, like superstar potential. So he called him one of the worst players in the league. What do you guys think?
So my opinion on that would be yes and no. If he's getting $200 million a year, if I'm correct, right? So
over 4 years, not $1 million.
Oh yeah, no, over $200 million, whatever. Anyway, point is like he's getting paid to play defense, right? He's not going to put up 20 points per game. He's not going to average double-doubles, right? I can see Shaq's point of view where he's saying, like, Gobert, you're 7 foot. You should be doing more. You need to add more to your game. In order for you to be a $200 million player, you got to have post moves. You got to have a baby hook, minimum, a mid-range jump shot. Something, especially in this league nowadays, you got to have something to the table. I think in the context of what he's talking about, in my opinion, I think he's talking about Gobert being more of a robot. He plays like a robot. He's a little too stiff, if you guys know what I mean. Like, there's no flow to his game, you know? I do think he's one of the greatest defenses. He's one of the greatest defensive centers to play the game. But to say he's the worst player, I mean, it's a toss-up. I can see where Shaq's coming from. I personally think he's a great player, but you're paying him to play defense, not give you offense. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so we're all in agreement that Rudy Gobert is just getting paid for his defense, right?
Absolutely.
He's getting paid for his defense. You know, what were you going to say? Isaac?
I'm actually going to come to the aid of Rudy. He kind of signed a contract. Obviously, it's going to be an overpay, but he got played for defense. He's a great regular season player. He does earn his money, but when he needs to step up the most, unfortunately, in the playoffs, he kind of gets exposed. I mean, he's trying. It's not like he's giving up. You saw in the Dallas series, he was absolutely
He's
trying.
Gonna get targeted in that high pick and roll all the time. Him and Luka, man, Luka gonna cook him every day.
I think the hatred is like overblown for Gobert, but hey, you negotiate what you get. You don't fret about it. You negotiate what you think you're worth, and he did. So
yeah, to piggyback off that, I do agree with like what Benny and Isaac just said. You guys are absolutely spot on. I think that Rudy Gobert is just getting paid for his defense. He's a $200 million player. I do think he could add a couple more post hooks. You know, there's some instances throughout his career where he's had a little man on him in the post, and the little man always whooped his ass. Let's just be real.
He clamped him
because Rudy doesn't have a hook. I don't see a drop step. I don't see any move that Rudy Gobert has. He's just a glass cleaning big.
And if I also may add too, he doesn't bring that toughness that you need. You know what I mean? He's more, in my opinion, him and Cat are the two softest centers in the league.
You think Gobert's soft in what sense?
I think he's soft. I think he's soft, man. He let players get in his head all the time. He creating all these unnecessary fouls. He's hitting people. Remember that time against when with the Celtics, like I think he undercut Jason Tatum or someone like that. There's numerous instances where he's done that. He's given multiple cheap shots. You know what I mean? That tells me he's mentally weak. You know, in order to compete in this league, you gotta be mentally tough. And Rudy Gobert don't have it. Him and Cat. I think they're both soft in the league. They're the two softest centers in the league. I'm sorry. If we talking about toughness, I mean, now we're going off a different topic right here. This is, you know, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but the Wolves, they don't have that toughness. They don't got nothing. Outside of Anthony Edwards, they don't got nothing. Gobert's not tough. Cat's not tough. You know what I mean? So, yes, I do think that Gobert could add more to his game, but he needs to bring more toughness. He doesn't bring it. He's going to get exposed regardless. You know what I mean?
And that all comes down to the mental work. Isaac, what was your next point that you wanted to bring up?
Jamal Murray got his 4-year contract extension. What do we think about that?
That's a massive overpay. 4 years, what is it, $208 million?
$208 million.
$208 million. You know, I like Jamal Murray, but I don't have $208 million reasons why I want to pay him that much money. What he does for the Nuggets is phenomenal. You know, he's the Batman to the Robin for Nikola Jokic. He is part of that hub in the offense for the Denver Nuggets. But $208 million player, you know, at times he could have his moments where he disappears in games. Let's just be real. He has his moments. But for the most part, you know, he shows up, but it's not to the point of where I would want to pay him $208 million.
Benny?
My bad.
No, I'm saying, like, what's your thoughts?
So how I think about that, you know, with Jamal Murray, I like I said, I still think he's one of the top guards in the league. Doesn't matter.
Is he better than Ja Morant?
Yeah, he's better than Ja Morant.
Okay.
He's better than Ja Morant.
Okay.
I mean, give me 208 million reasons why I'd give Jamal Murray that contract over Ja Morant. What's Ja Morant done? I mean, we've had this discussion in the past. We've discussed it already. I know y'all would take Ja, and don't get me wrong, I'm not discrediting his talent. I'm not. I'm just saying, if you're going to give me $208 million, I'm going to give it to Jamal Murray. I'm not giving it to Ja Morant. I don't know what the fuck he's going to do with it.
But why is Jamal Murray worth $208 million?
He's got that toughness and that experience that you need, you know, at the point guard position. Ja Morant doesn't have that. You give Ja Morant maybe a few more years. I think so.
In general, I'm talking about that whole contract, just only Jamal Murray. We're not talking about Ja Morant. Why do you think Jamal Murray is worth $208 million?
Because, as I said earlier, he brings that leadership, that toughness to the Denver Nuggets. You know what I mean? He can defend pretty decently. I'm not going to say he's a above average defender. Well, I'm not going to say he's a great defender, but he's an above average defender.
He's an average defender.
He can knock down the three. You know what I mean? He shows up when he needs to show up. You know what I mean? So, and he's helped them. He's proven that he's invaluable. Remember last year, 2 years ago, against the Heat, right? Against the Heat, if Jamal Murray wasn't there, Nuggets ain't winning. Nuggets ain't winning it. I'm sorry, they ain't winning the title. But Jamal Murray being there really does help the Nuggets, man. So I can see why you give $208 million to him. You know, do I think it's a bit too much? Do you think I would pay that? Personally, no. But I mean, I can justify the reasons why you'd give him $208 million.
That's just way too much money for Jamal Murray.
What do you think? Yeah, well, yeah. Would you give that?
I personally wouldn't give Jamal Murray $208 million, but I would give maybe Jamal Murray about $160 to $180 million because I believe that's how much he's worth. $208 million is just for the Nuggets to say, hey, you know what? We screwed up with KCP, so we're gonna give you some extra money.
So you're saying you kind of see that more as like a Band-Aid kind of thing,
like a Band-Aid. It's like a Band-Aid. It's, you know, and also to segue into another point, you know. Throughout this week, Mike Malone wasn't seeing eye to eye.
We did put a short upon that.
Yeah,
so
check this on YouTube.
I feel this is the beginning of the end for the Nuggets. Unfortunately, they're stuck with Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Jokic. Jokic is the best player out of all of them. No one's gonna want to take Michael Porter Jr. because of the second apron rules, which like kind of hamper teams. So I'm going to make a bold prediction, and you guys are probably going to laugh at me.
I want to hear it, bro. I want to hear it.
Nikola Jokic will end up on the Dallas Mavericks once his contract's up.
Why Dallas?
Have you not seen his friendliness with Luka? This hasn't been the first time that they've
So we're basically friendliness off reasons why you think he's going to go to Dallas. Why would he want to go to Dallas?
They're championship contender. Look, okay.
Taxes out there, too.
Here's the thing. Denver, their front office, do you know what their GM said? He's like, oh, we won 1 out of 3 championships. That's good enough. That's not good enough. Do you think Jokic wants to hear that? You know who's always doing moves? Nico Harrison. Always trying to make the team better, even though no one agrees with me.
So in a perfect world, Isaac, I just want to hear this from a Mavs perspective, Mavs fan perspective, all right? What if you're gonna send Jokic out to Dallas, who are you gonna give up that's gonna be worth taking Jokic?
Oh, we don't have to sign anyone. He'll come sign.
Someone's got to go, and especially nowadays with the sign and trade, someone's got to go. If you're thinking like that, you're not telling me Derek Lively gonna be out there. Absolutely not, because he's gonna be traded. He's gonna be part of a sign and trade. Yeah, he will.
No.
Oh yeah, he will. Derek Lively cannot play the 4. No, he can't.
He can adjust.
No, he can't. He's going to get destroyed nowadays, bro.
We'll see.
I don't know how that happened, man.
We'll see.
That's a stretch.
We'll
That's too
see.
much of a stretch, Isaac.
We'll
Nah,
see.
man.
Here's the thing, like with the front office like Denver, the fact that they're doing that and saying 1 out of 3 is okay, it's not. Nico's
No, I
constantly
agree.
looking for moves, and he's very shrewd with all his moves. So think about it. Just keep that in the back of your mind.
But if the Mavs were to go after Jokic, they would have to give up some significant capital.
Yeah, you can't just get him.
Yeah,
You can't sign him outright. You got to do a sign and trade. You know what I mean?
Because I know the Nuggets, they screwed up with KCP, but they're not going to screw up with Nikola Jokic.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I
they
don't
let
think-
KCP
I
go.
know-
They
I
let
know.
Bruce Brown go.
Yeah, but
what
KC
else is
but
what else is gonna
KCP,
go?
but KCP and Bruce Brown aren't as the level caliber player as Nikola Jokic. It's
They
not going to
proved that
happen.
They were valuable to Denver.
Yeah, but who's more valuable? Them or
Jokic.
Jokic? Yeah. So what you going to do? You're going to get a king's ransom for him.
Just saying, he doesn't have to agree with anything.
Living in La La Land with his beliefs. I don't know about
Speaking
that.
of that, we gonna head out to La La Land. The Indiana Pacers. Was that a fairy tale run, or are they for real?
Oh, we're
team
talking about the
guys?
Central Division today, right?
Yeah.
we're talking about the Central
What do you guys
Division.
think?
Okay, as much as they kind of got lucky last year, but their offense is no joke. The only thing is holding them back would probably be their defense. Because let's be honest, Giannis is on the court against them. Are they winning against?
Hell no.
Nope.
They gonna get destroyed.
But then again, think about it. They kind of beat them last year with Adrian Griffin and Doc Rivers. And Doc Rivers doesn't really make adjustments. He sticks with his crew as much as Rick Carlisle. He actually makes adjustments somewhat, not defensively, but offensively.
I think the question becomes like, we're not talking about Indiana. We're not talking about Milwaukee anymore. We're talking about Indiana.
Does
right.
anyone fear the deer anymore?
No. Why'd I fear the deer?
No.
No. I mean, look, just to keep it real with you, like I was saying, that's the real question. Is like, I think Indiana's catapulted themselves up there in the top 5 out east. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Do I think that last year's run had some little bit of luck? I think I agree a little bit. I mean, no Dame. Dame wasn't 100%. Giannis was hurt. You got
That's a
bailed
break.
out.
Yeah, that's a break.
You
Yeah.
got bailed out. And then you played against the Knicks. You got bailed out. You play against Boston. You could argue that they kind of got bailed out, in the first 2 games, whatever.
They were competitive.
It
but
was
they
competitive.
They were never gonna really.
They were
beat
gonna
Boston.
If we're gonna be honest, if Jaylen Brown didn't hit that 3 in game
Absolutely
1,
not.
I think the whole series would
Absolutely
have
not.
shifted, and I thought it would have gone 6-7 games.
It would okay. Let me piggyback off his thing. It would have shifted, but you guys still would have won.
Yeah,
it would
yeah.
have just been
Yeah, that's
the
the thing.
biggest scare.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been enough of a scare for the Celtics, but I mean, also, too, like, the Pacers, they got some young talent. I mean, Tyrese Haliburton's nice. That Andrew Nemhard kid,
He stepped
Man,
up.
That I'm trying. What was you gonna say?
If I'm Indiana, Benedict Mathurin is kind of like
Expendable. Yeah.
So people are gonna
Yeah.
want to line up
yeah.
to trade for him. So
I mean, he's
teams that could use a spark plug off the bench, Benedict Mathurin is your guy.
Yeah, the thing is, like, the only thing that Benedict Mathurin struggles with is his efficiency. You know what I mean? He's not shooting the ball. He doesn't shoot the ball that great from the field. But I mean, he does give you that athleticism. He does give you that extra oomph.
he's a good
You know
finisher.
what I mean? He's a good finisher around the rim. I'm gonna give you
He
that.
plays average defense?
Semi-average defense,
Average?
but he can hold his own.
Let's talk about that Pacers lineup. That lineup consists of Haliburton, Nemhard. You have also Aaron Nesmith, Pascal Siakam, and
Turner.
Miles Turner. Off the bench, you have what's his face, TJ McConnell. Solid. He's a defensive-minded player. Anybody else you guys can think of off the
They
Indiana
kind of
bench?
have a rookie who can kind of break into the rotation.
What's that
Jarris
rookie's
Walker.
name? It's Jarris
Ben
Walker.
Shepherd.
Ben
Ben
Shepherd.
Shepherd.
That's the guy. He really showed out in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
he showed up. He showed out.
He showed that. Hey, I want some playing time.
Yeah,
he's
so
going to be
Mathurin
playing.
looking expendable. So to answer this, so to kind of sum that all up and talk about what you guys were saying earlier, Do I think the Pacers had a little bit of luck? Yes, I think they did.
Just a bit.
Just a bit, but they were never really going to beat Boston. Let's be real. You're not going to beat Boston 7-game series. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Like, everybody says that. It wasn't going to happen. But they give you enough to realize, like, holy shit, like, you can't fuck around with this team no more. You know what I mean? Like, they got enough firepower. You know what I mean? Granted, Rick Carlisle didn't make some smart decisions at the end of game 1. Such as fouling within the last minute or so.
Not using his timeout.
Not using his timeouts. Granted, there's a few mistakes. Game 3, it happened as well. But I still think that you got some brewing in Indiana. You know what I mean? But do I think they're a finals contender? No.
I feel they're like a 3-and-D wing away from like possibly competing. And maybe like a 4, maybe a slight upgrade at the 5. Siakam is good, but like he has like a predictable offense.
You need like I think if they get a DFS Dorian Finney-Smith, I think the Pacers are one of those teams that are like, whoa, they could catapult themselves into a top 3 team.
Yeah, the Pacers are just one move away. I mean, look, you can't mess around with this team no more. The only thing they need to clean up is that defense. If they clean up that defense,
like above, like average defense, they don't even need like elite defense. Like
nowadays. Who needs, great defense?
The refs just award the offensive player more.
That's what it is, man. That's how it works.
Really quick, I want to go off topic. So, well, actually, once you get to the Pistons, I'll say this. Sorry.
Well, we're going to hop onto the Pistons. Guys, where are the Pistons going?
What the hell are you doing along with the Chicago Bulls?
Where are we going? You signed Tobias Harris. You got Tim Hardaway Jr. What direction? You have Jaden Hardy, Jalen Duren. What are we doing in Detroit? What's going on out there?
So I'm proposing something crazy. The Knicks, they got picks. Detroit, don't know what they're doing. If I'm New York, I'm calling up Detroit. I want Jalen Duren. I got these picks. I'll give you Julius Randle. Let's make business.
But also, too, and you said it's Jaden Ivey, not Jaden Hardy.
Jaden Hardy. Yeah,
Jaden Hardy's with the Mavs. But, yes, I think that's NBA purgatory. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a star player, hey, fuck it. Why don't we go out and play in Detroit? Revive 2 years of our career, then we can go find ourselves on a contender. That's what's going to happen. Because I feel like Tim Hardaway Jr., he's going to, obviously, everybody's going to have the season out there. You know what I mean? You're playing for the Detroit Pistons. You're getting playing time no matter what. Tobias Harris ain't getting minutes in Philly. He damn sure ain't getting minutes in Los Angeles. Both teams. He ain't getting no minutes.
Tobias Harris's last game with Philadelphia played over 2 halves of about a half of basketball. You know how many points he scored?
A donut.
A donut hole. Yep.
A donut.
Yeah.
So I don't know where Detroit's going, but if I'm Detroit, I'm focusing on building around Jalen Duren.
I'm focused on building around Cade Cunningham.
Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham.
Because I don't know what. Hold on, before I forget this topic, man. I just didn't like how Monty Williams out here not playing Jaden Ivey during the season when this guy was giving you almost 20 points per.
The season prior, he was hooping.
I don't know what the whole concept was. Him coming off the bench playing behind Killian Hayes. Where the fuck is he now? He's somewhere overseas. No, he's with Brooklyn, I think. Who fucking cares? I'm sorry, man. I gotta say that's one thing I didn't like what Monty Williams did. Just not cool, man.
I wouldn't be surprised if Cade Cunningham's traded like in a few years.
He's not gonna be. I don't think they'll trade him.
Cade Cunningham. If anything, I think the person you'd likely to trade is Jaden Ivey.
I don't think
Jalen Duren.
No,
I think you trade Jalen Duren.
I think
you get more Jalen Duren.
New York, use those picks. Call Detroit up. Jalen Duren.
Jaden Ivey could provide that guard play if he was out shipped to New York.
I think so too. I absolutely agree with you on that.
What do you guys think? Would Jalen Duren catapult the Knicks a bit if they trade Julius Randle?
He does add a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to catapult him, but he's going to add, another physical presence for the Knicks.
Yeah, he's going to add that physical presence and somebody who can clean up the glass like Isaiah Hartenstein did last season.
Let's be honest. They got to be financially smart. Jalen Duren would be on his rookie contract for another 2 years? So they'd be financially smart to do that, get rid of the picks. Let's be honest. The Knicks are going to be competitive for like a few years. They're not going to do anything. Just trade them. Trade Julius Randle. Unless Julius Randle accepts a roll off the bench and they look for a big man, the Knicks aren't going to win the title this year. They need a big man.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I think they need They need a little bit of playmaking. You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna say Jalen Brunson's a playmaker. I would say he's
more
a
of a
playmaker.
score
He's
first.
a score first guard. He's a score first guard, and he's going to pass when he needs to pass. I think he is a little bit. He is unselfish. I'm going to say that, but he's not really looking to pass. You know what I mean? So if you can get someone, I mean, Jalen Duren, you can play him in the low post, and you can get some movement around the perimeter with DiVincenzo, Brunson, Hart, and all those Nova boys out there, Bridges. I think, if you trade for someone like a Jalen Duren, I can see some stuff happening for New York. But, I mean, that's beside the point. You know what I mean? We talking about the Pistons.
What about Chicago? Is there any direction to them anymore?
I have no idea what
the fuck are we doing in Chicago?
No one's going to trade for Zach LaVine. His contract's terrible. They just traded for Josh Giddey. I don't know what that's going to do.
And they let go of, and they traded Alex Caruso.
They let DeRozan walk for a second-round pick.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on in Chicago.
The only player that I believe is untouchable in Chicago is Kobe White. You do not trade that man.
I'm thinking about the Ayo Dosunmu. You can't forget about him.
He's good, but I feel Kobe White is like.
What about Dalen Terry?
Yeah, you can argue Dalen Terry.
Dalen Terry's pretty solid.
You can argue Dalen Terry, but
it's in Chicago, man. You can't really tell if it's like. I could probably go play in that.
Dalen Terry is decent. He's decent.
He's decent, yes. But, I mean, Dosunmu and Kobe White, I think, are valuable to the Chicago Bulls rebuild. Here's what I think really needs to happen in Chicago. First things first, you got to get rid of Vucevic. Get rid of that bloated contract. Then get rid of fucking LaVine because you don't need him. Start shipping out your veterans, right? Because you don't need them out there in Chicago. What you need to do is you need to start rebuilding as a whole. Calling up teams like Washington, Detroit, all those bottom feeder teams, should call up the Spurs. Keldon Johnson's been available for God knows how long. I mean, call them up. You know what I mean? Maybe you can get some picks back. Send Keldon Johnson out there to Chicago. And then you can ship out Vucevic or whoever out there. Send LaVine out there. You can send LaVine to San Antonio. He'll play with Wemby.
San Antonio's not that dumb to take that contract.
Well, I mean, no, but I'm just saying from the standpoint of like what's going to make much more sense in terms of like, personnel. Send them out there. You know what I mean? You can get Zach LaVine. I mean, the Spurs will welcome it. I mean, Zach LaVine is still young. You play him with Wemby. And then who else you got there? You got Jeremy Sohan. You got pretty decent play out there. So, yeah, that's what I would do if I was Chicago. I'm calling up San Antonio. Keldon Johnson's been available for God knows how long.
If I'm Chicago, I'm just blowing this whole thing up.
Just blow it up.
Stick a dynamite and go.
Yeah, because, Lonzo Ball's coming back too,
I wouldn't be surprised if he's bought out at this point because he doesn't fit into their long-term vision. Let's be honest.
No.
Let's be real. I think with Lonzo Ball healthy, the Chicago Bulls were probably the most competitive. We're one of the most competitive teams out east.
The minute he went out,
yep,
kapoo.
Yep.
I mean, I can see. I agree. I think if Lonzo Ball was there, he does make it competitive.
He headed that ship in Chicago. You saw how good Chicago was. I legit thought with Lonzo Ball out there, I was like, whoa, this Bulls team is pretty damn good. And then when Chicago lost Ball, what happened? Everything fell down the toilet.
You know what would be interesting, in my opinion? Lonzo going to Charlotte, teaming up with LaMelo.
But then, LaMelo is he's talks to get traded too.
But just 1 year. LaMelo's more of a two guard. Let's be honest.
No, I think LaMelo's he's more.
Well, with the shot selection, man, you really think
his shot selection's a little bit off. He could play off the ball.
Who's better to set him up than his own brother? It would be interesting. I feel that would make Charlotte. Was a stretch of playing team.
But Charlotte's really not really relevant out east. So like I said, in Chicago, you gotta blow the shit up.
You gotta blow it up.
It ain't working.
It's gotta start with Zach LaVine. And then Vucevic, and then build around Dalen Terry, Ayo Dosunmu, and Kobe White.
And don't forget, I think they drafted Mateus Buzelis. Man, that kid's gonna look nice.
Yep.
I think he's going to be up there in Rookie of the Year up there with Reed Shepherd. But, I think his development, and now he's got more of an expanded role now that Caruso's gone. I think he's going to hold himself well. I can see him averaging legit 18, 19 a game.
Mateus Buzelis?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Long, lanky, 6'7", 6'8", small forward.
Speaking of someone who came in the league long and lanky, Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, we talking about the Bucks now, huh?
Is this the last hoorah for the Bucks?
It has to be. It's either championship or bust, but they don't have a championship team, honestly. They got a coach who's blown more 3-1 leads than anyone in history. They got Damian Lillard, who, as much as he can only carry so much, and he's older, his body's breaking down. Chris Middleton's up in his 30s. Brooke Lopez is getting close to 40. And you have an aging team, and what? They just signed an inconsistent volume shooter with Gary Trent Jr., and then they signed who else? Torian Prince. You really think that's going to move the needle? I don't think it will.
Not really.
And Doc isn't known for his adjustments, so I wouldn't be surprised if Dame's hurt at some point or Giannis is hurt. And I feel it's going to be sometime before the playoffs, and it's just going to be a repeat, and Giannis is just going to see the writing on the wall, and he's going to be out.
My thing with the Bucks is they gotta either trade Middleton or Lopez. Both of them's gotta go, but you get more value I think with Brooke Lopez. Because think about teams who are looking for a big who could defend and shoot the three. You know? So with the Bucks, I think this could be their last hoorah. You know, I don't think if they're a first round exit this year, Giannis is gone. They're gonna blow that team up and they're gonna start from scratch. Because I don't think Giannis is going to tolerate anymore losing any first-round exits to the Indiana Pacers. No way in hell you're supposed to lose to the Indiana Pacers.
I think what the Milwaukee Bucks have been developing over these last 2-3 seasons is mediocrity. They are the definition of mediocrity. They've got all this talent. You know, granted, they did win a chip, right? They won a chip when Giannis was here. But they are the definition of mediocrity. I mean, they just can't get over that hump. You know what I mean? They can't be Boston. They can't be Indiana. They couldn't even be Indiana this year. Granted, obviously they weren't healthy, but still, man, it's like, come on, man. You can't be losing to teams like that.
Let's just be honest. They're at the bottom of the list of contenders, the very bottom.
Yeah, they're probably, if you tell me the 5 teams out east, they'd probably be my 5th best team.
Yeah, they're 5th or 6th.
I'd probably take the Cavs over them too.
Yeah, I would take Cleveland. Yeah, I'll take Cleveland. Yeah, and like I said, Milwaukee, man, if the Bucks don't get their act together, right, this year, I do agree. I think it's the year where we see Giannis. I won't be surprised if there's murmurs or rumblings that Giannis is not going to be happy. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't be surprised if he teams up with Curry and Golden State. I wouldn't be surprised because I can see that happening. Him, Curry, you know, obviously, you know, Draymond Green, yeah, granted they're 35, 36 next year, but still, I mean, Curry's still Curry. Curry's still going to hold his own, yeah. You know what I mean? Yep. Know, but I just think personally the Bucks need to figure it out. They need to figure out. Torian Prince doesn't move the needle. Gary Trent Jr. doesn't move the needle. Maybe you get a little bit more three-point shooting, but you lost Grayson Allen. But losing Grayson Allen
and Drew Holiday
didn't help.
You screwed that up.
And you gave him to your contender, basically.
Yep. And Brogdon a few years back.
You screwed that up.
They messed it up.
And Dante DiVincenzo. I don't know what is going on out there in Milwaukee.
Well, let's make a prediction. Where do you think Milwaukee will finish in the standings between 1 through 8?
I'd say they're probably going to be a 5 team, number 5.
I say 6th or 7th. I think they're going to slip down. I just don't see them, you know, beating Indiana. I don't think beating Cleveland, beating New York, beating Philly, or beating Boston.
I don't think they're going to be a playing team per se, but I think they're going to be. They're not going to.
But
be in the top 3.
But hold on that front too. If you're say Milwaukee falls to the 6th seed, right? Say we you know, they're a 6th seed, you know, and whoever's playing them at number 3, right? Call it, you know, Cleveland or
That's the Sixers.
Cleveland and Philly. Milwaukee still then it's going to be.
I'm taking Milwaukee.
Yeah, Milwaukee still then it's not going to be a tough out because if you think you're Philly and you got we got 6 seed in Milwaukee, I ain't going to be no walk in the park.
But again, their coach Doc,
he
doesn't make adjustments. That's the thing. I want to trust Giannis, but he has his free throws. Damian Lillard, I do, but that cast. That's the thing.
They need to strengthen that cast.
I would feel more comfortable if there was any other coach, even Adrian Griffin. Rather than Doc Rivers.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I mean, I agree with you on that sentiment, but also, too, like, I wouldn't want to face them in the first round. I still wouldn't want to face them because they're going to be a tough out.
I wouldn't either. If I'm being real, I trust the Bucks more than I do the Sixers.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I mean, what do you mean? Wait a second. You trust the Bucks over the Sixers?
I trust the Bucks. In the playoffs, I trust the Bucks more than the Sixers.
Health wise,
Let's be real. Who you taking? Who you taking in a 7-game series?
Giannis.
Joel Embiid or Giannis?
Giannis.
I'm taking
I'll
Giannis.
take Giannis.
Easy. So there's no
Maxey
debate.
or Lillard?
Both teams.
Maxey or Lillard?
Lillard.
I'm taking Maxey.
Lillard over Maxey.
I'm taking Lillard.
I'm taking Maxey.
I'm taking Lillard, bro.
I'm taking Maxey.
Dude, Tyrese Maxey. Yeah, he's proved himself. But look, like I said, those two teams, they just haven't proven enough to me. The Sixers and the Bucks. The Bucks have proven it already in the past. They can do it. They just need to get over that hump. The Bucks remind me of the Los Angeles Lakers. They can't get over that hump. And whatever the fuck it is, they can't finish it. They've got all they need, but yet they can't. They don't have that. You know what I mean? So if you make comparisons, you know what I mean? We'll save this for another time. But the Milwaukee Bucks remind me of the Los Angeles Lakers. From that front, you've got a star player. Your star player is Giannis. Your star player is LeBron if you're in La La Land. Your next best player, I would say, is Damian Lillard. Then out there in LA, you got AD. You know what I mean? But we'll save that for another time. But like I said, I can't trust either the Bucks or the Sixers. But if you ask me who I'm trusting a little bit more, I'm trusting Philly just a little bit more than Milwaukee. Milwaukee's, I mean, they got booted out by 8-seeded Miami. I can't trust that. They got booted out by 6-seeded Indiana Pacers team. I can't trust that.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. The Bucks were playing injured. They didn't have Giannis and they didn't have Dame against the Indiana Pacers. I'm giving them that.
Yeah, of course.
I'll give them that. So, the last and final team that we almost forgot about, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cleveland.
Are they your sleepers?
Hell yeah, they might sleeper team out there.
I'll sleep on them.
Wait, what? You don't sleep on Cleveland?
Yeah.
Why you
sleep on Cleveland, bro? Why?
They got a first-year head coach. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are too small of a backcourt. Jared Allen, he's a question mark. Evan Mobley is a question mark only because of the offensive end. Max Strus is a big question mark. There's just too many question marks around that team.
I mean, I can see where you're coming at. Max Strus, he's inconsistent, but when he's on, he's on.
And not to mention, they still haven't re-signed Isaac Okoro, who's still a restricted free agent.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on out there in Cleveland, but I mean, I still think I would take Cleveland over Indiana. You ask me realistically.
I take Cleveland.
You guys are on absolute crap.
I take Cleveland. I trust Cleveland in a 7-game series.
Absolutely.
You're telling me?
Nah.
I got Donovan Mitchell every single day of the week.
Yeah,
Donovan Mitchell over Tyrese Haliburton.
Yeah, I mean, that guard tandem,
the guard play, and not only that, but I think the Cavs have the length to match up with almost any team in the league, in my opinion.
No,
they got 2 twin towers in Jared Allen and Evan Mobley.
Who both can't space the floor.
Evan Mobley in the next 5 years is going to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
Absolutely.
So I think the Cavaliers, they're one of those teams where you better watch out. You can't catch them on a bad day. The only question mark for me with the Cavaliers is their bench. Other than Karis LeVert, who else they got on that bench?
Dean Wade, Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro if they actually re-sign him. But I still trust them more than I would trust Indiana.
I do too.
I trust them more. I mean, their star player, Donovan Mitchell's been there in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Proven. He's battle tested.
He's battle tested. I'm not saying Tyrese Haliburton isn't. I'm not saying it. But if you ask me who I would take between those two, I'm trusting Cleveland. You know what I mean? Cleveland's a little bit more better. They're a more talented team than Indiana. Indiana just got that grit. Let's be real. Indiana got that grit.
No way. I would take Indiana.
You take I can see that. TJ McConnell.
Yeah, I mean,
I see that.
Yeah, Indiana got that grit. I'm not going to discredit, Indiana. I'm not going to discredit Cleveland. If you trust, I trust Cleveland more. I can't trust Indiana.
Here's who I compared the Indiana Pacers to. The Sacramento Kings. A lot of offense, but that defense is virtually non-existent.
Kings ain't going anywhere, but that's for another episode.
But you see, you get where I'm going, right? The Pacers have really good offense.
Version of the Kings.
They have the East good
version of the Kings.
It's just the King. It's just the Pacers. I can trust them on offense, but I don't know how I feel about them on defense. Other than Miles Turner, and T.J. McConnell are the only two players I trust. And T.J. McConnell's a 6'1" guard, 6'2" guard.
If that,
And you got Miles Turner, who is a 3-and-D big.
Aaron Nesmith.
But Aaron Nesmith isn't quite proven yet, in my opinion.
The Pacers bring the toughness. The Cavs bring that experience.
So between all the Central Division teams, who's going to have the most successful season? I'm going with Indy.
Who you going with, Bobby?
Ask me last. I got to think about this.
That's a tough one. I mean, like, if we just excluding Chicago, Detroit,
we all know they ain't going to have success.
they ain't going to be successful.
You know, I'm going to go. I'm going to say this. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to have a great season. Healthy Giannis, healthy Dame. Dame's going to come back hungry. Giannis is going to come back hungry. I think Middleton might, he was injured last year. Let's give him credit. Let's give him some break. He was hurt. Brook Lopez, he was hurt too. I think the Milwaukee Bucks win the Central Division.
Honestly, if you ask me my personal opinion, I can see I'm not going to disagree with you on that, what you just said about Milwaukee. I'm going to have to disagree with you about Indiana because I think Indiana got hot, But I still think Indiana going to make some noise. I still think they're going to make some noise. However, my sleeper team next year is going to be Cleveland. I trust Cleveland a little bit more than I would trust Indy. And I think they would have much more success and cohesion, even though they've got a first-year coach in Atkinson, than Milwaukee. So I'm going with Cleveland. Cleveland's going to be that sleeper team.
Milwaukee, Indiana, and Cleveland.
Cleveland, yep.
All right. Chat, who do you think is going to win the Central Division? The Bucks, the Pacers, or the Cavaliers? Like, comment, and subscribe. You guys got anything else to say before we close out today?
I mean, I think I'm good. I mean, like, we just continue to appreciate the support from every one of you. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Also follow us on X. Also leave a comment in the comment sections. We do appreciate your comments and we do appreciate the engagement from you guys.
6 more weeks until the NBA season, folks.
I cannot wait.
6 more weeks.
Opening tip.
But until then,
wait, before you end it, what division are we
that's what I was
going
to do. Okay. That's what I was going to do next. Next week we're going to talk about the Southeast.
Can you just give us a preview of who the teams are?
The Orlando Magic, Miami Heat, Atlanta, Charlotte, and Washington.
Well, we all know how that's going to be.
I got plenty of things to say about that conference.
Only one team really to talk about. Yeah.
But we'll save that for another time.
Yeah, we'll save that for next week. Thank you again, guys.
Appreciate the love. Thank you all.
Good night.
Good night.